Okay, number 10 says the graph below shows the relationship between the distance in miles a delivery truck traveled and the number of hours each delivery took. Which best describes the relationship shown on the graph? Okay, so if you look at our answer choices, we're talking about domain and range. Remember, domain will be our x values and range will be our y values. So if I look at my x values, I have numbers that are in the 100s. So if I look at F, I see that these are not in the 100s, so I know this is not correct. And G, this is not in the 100s, so that is not correct. So it has to either be H or J. And if I look at H, I can see that I repeated some values. And we don't ever repeat the values when we're just listing them, so I know H is not it. Therefore, J is going to have to be it. Okay, number 11 says solve the system of inequalities by graphing. Okay, so we can do this by hand. These are both in slope-intercept form. So the first one, I can pick out my slope, which is a -1/1, and my y-intercept is a +2. So I'm going to plot that. If I go up to +2, and then I'm going to go down 1 and over 1, and keep doing that until I've created my line. If I go the opposite direction. Okay, I can connect those points. It needs to be a solid line because it has an equal to on my inequality sign. So there's my solid line. And then because it's a greater than, I am going to shade above the line. So all of this is going to get shaded. Okay. All right, let's go to the next one. The second problem, my slope is a +2/1, and my y-intercept is -2. So I'm going to go down to -2, and then I'll go up 2 and over 1, up 2 and over 1, up 2 and over 1, or down the other way. Okay, the next, the second inequality does not have an equal to, so I am connecting with a dashed line, not a solid line. And then I need to shade. It is a less than, so that means I am shading below my line. So all of this will get shaded in. And so you can see my double shaded area. I'll do that in another color. Let's see if I can do this. This is going to be my double shaded area. So this would be where any solution that would work would be in that section right there. Okay, number 12 says, what are the coordinates of the 0 of line AB graph below? Okay, remember the 0, root, 0, solution. Let's see, wait, sorry. The roots, the zeros, the solution, they all mean x-intercept. So again, all I have to do is find where it's crossing my x-axis, and the point coordinate for that point would be 2, 0. So look at my answer choices, and D would be it. Number 13 says the graph below represents the function y equals 2/3 x minus 3. And then it said if y equals f of x, what is the value of f of 3? So remember, this is just a fancy way of saying x equals 3. So I can do two things. I could plug it into my x in my equation and figure out what my answer is. And that would give me 2 minus 3, which is a -1. Or I could have just gone straight to the graph, and if x is 3, here's 3, I would go down till I hit my line. Well, that's at -1. So either way, my answer is going to be C, which is -1. Number 14 says, a company manufactures scooters. It cost $5,700 to make 9 scooters and $13,200 to make 24 scooters. The cost of manufacturing is based on a per scooter cost and a fixed materials fee. Which equation models the cost as a function? Okay, so let's just make ourselves a little data table. We're going to have our x and our y. So if you'll notice that it said it's based on a per scooter cost. So if you look down here, you can see that that means this is the number of scooters. So in our X column, I'm putting the number of scooters. So for 9 scooters, it cost $5,700. So I'll put 9 here and then $5,700 here. And then for 24 scooters, it was 13,200. So I'll put 24 and then 13,200. Okay, from here we can go to our calculator and we can type that in. So let me go to the calculator. We're going to go to a new document, save nothing ever. Okay, so I went to new document. I need to add for a list or a spreadsheet. And in A, we type in X. In B, I'm going to type in Y. X, I'll have 9 and then 24 for my values. In the Y column, I have 5,700 and then 13,200. From there, I'm going to go to Menu, and then 4 for Statistics, 1 for Stat Calculations, and then I need 3 for Linear Regression, where it's MX plus B. And then I'll type X for my X list, Y for my Y list, and then Enter. Okay, and hopefully you can see this through all my other writing. My M is 500 and my B is 1200. So that means we should have the equation Y equals 500X plus 1200. So let's go back to our answer choices on our paper now. And I'm looking for 500X plus 1200. So it looks like B is going to be the correct answer. Number 15 says, which situation can be represented by the equation Y equals 7.5x plus 2? So let's just look at our answer choices and see if we can eliminate. A says the cost Y of spending $7.50 on movie tickets. Well, that kind of makes sense that we'd spend $7.50 on movie tickets if X is the number of movie tickets. But then it doesn't talk anything about the 2, so A is not it. B says the same thing, the cost Y of spending $7.50 on X movie tickets after a one-time convenience fee of $2. So did they charge us one time only for $2 more? And yes, they did. So B is going to be the correct answer. Okay, 16 says a baker is packing 18 boxes to sell in his bakery. Some boxes will contain cookies and some will contain donuts. There will be 24 cookies in the cookie boxes and 12 donuts in the donut boxes, and he will package a total of 276 bakery items. Which system of equations could be used to determine the C, the number of boxes containing cookies, and D, the number of boxes containing donuts? Okay, so it's telling us that we're going to use C is the number of boxes containing cookies, and D is the number of boxes containing donuts. So we will definitely have the number of cookie boxes plus the number of donut boxes should equal the total number of boxes that he's packing, and it says right here that he's packing 18 boxes. So there's my first equation. So if I look, that has C plus D is 18, C plus D is 276, C minus D is 18, C plus D is 18. So it's either A or D. Then let's look at the next part. It says there will be 24 cookies in the cookie boxes. So that means we're going to have 24 times the number of cookie boxes plus 12 donuts in the number of donut boxes. So that means 12 times D, the number of donut boxes. And that's going to equal a total of 276 bakery items. So 276. So on A, they have 24 times D, but it should be 24 times C, so that's not it. But down here, 24 times C plus 12 times D equals 276. So D is the correct answer for part A. But then look at part B. It says how many cookie boxes and donut boxes will he pack? So again, we can take this information right here, these two equations, and we can type them into our calculator. So let me pull that up. Okay, I am going to get rid of all of our stuff. Okay. So if we're going to type that in, remember we can go to Scratchpad, and we're going to do Menu, 3, and then 2. And then we can change, remember we are doing cookies and donuts, right? So C, comma, D, and that'll be okay. Let me get to that problem. So we are going to type in C plus D equals 18 for the first equation. And the next equation would be 24C plus 12D equals 276. Make sure I've typed that in correctly. That looks good. And so that means 5 C, so 5 cookie boxes and then 13 donut boxes should be our answer. So now let's go back to the worksheet to make sure that's what they were asking. How many cookie boxes and donut boxes will he pack? There we go, we have it. Okay, number 17 is asking me to identify the function. This is the function f of x can be represented in several other ways, which is not a correct representation. So we're looking for the one that is not correct, okay? So I had to shrink this a little bit so we could get the whole thing on this one page. So you can see 1 to 2 is what this says, 2 to 4 is correct, 3 to 6 is correct, 4 to 8 is correct. So F is correct, but we're looking for the one that's not correct. So G, if I were to plot, I'd say 1 and then up to 2. My point would be right here. 2 would go up to 4. That point would be here. 3 would go up to 6. That would be here. And then 4, I think I missed, sorry, right there. And then 4 would go up to 8, which looks like it might be right here. Either way, it's not in the correct, plotted in the correct point. So G is going to be our answer. 18 says, which is a solution for 6x plus 4 equals 8x minus 5y? We can go straight to our calculator and type that into InSolve. So we are going to do menu 3, 1, because it is one equation. So let's type that in. It was 6x plus 4 equals 8x minus 5. Remember, comma, x, and hit enter. So we get 4.5, but if you look at our answer choices, they're all in fractions. So now if we just go to menu, 2 for number, and then 2 for approximate to fraction, and hit enter, there we go. It gives us 9 over 2. So if we look at our answer choices, we can see that D is going to be our correct answer. 19 says, which of the following best represents the range of the functions shown in the graph below? So range, remember, it would be my y values. So if I look at my y values for this graph, my lowest y value is at 0. And because the arrows are going up in both directions, this way and this way, forever, that means it's starting at 0 and it is going on forever and ever going up. So look at our answer choices. It says A, it says all real numbers greater than 0. But this is including 0, so it's not going to be that. How about all real numbers greater than or equal to 0? Yes, it's definitely including 0, and it's getting larger and larger. And number 20 is the last one. It says the table below represents a function. Which of the following statements applies to the functional relationship shown in the table? So the first one says the x-intercept is -1. Well, remember, the x-intercept is going to be whatever my x value is, comma 0. So if I look down my y, here's 0. Is my x right here a -1? No, it's not. So A is not it. Let's look at B. It talks about the y-intercept is at -1. So remember, my y-intercept would be 0, comma, whatever the y value is. So if I look down here, here's my 0. So that means right here would be my y-intercept. Is this -1? Yes, it is. So that would be my correct answer.